What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fallout 4 Mods Week. Oh wait, no, this is Mods Monthly. So what is Fallout 4 Mods Monthly? It's basically a new series I've been wanting to start, where we take a step back and look at some of the best mods released in certain months. Fallout 4 Mods Weekly looks at the best mods released in a week. Here, we're going to go back a few months and say, hey, in June, what were the best mods released? Where are they at today? Have they been updated? And basically determine if they've withstood the test of time. Hopefully this series turns you on to some mods that you may have forgotten about, or maybe just brings you a little bit of nostalgia. With all that being said, I do encourage you guys to consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, but with that, let's get right into it. Minecraft Fallout 4. So this was without a doubt one of the more original mods to be released that month. It added in a brand new world space, kind of recreating the Minecraft world within Fallout 4. When this was released, I thought this was a mod with a lot of potential. It had the basics done. It had a cool world space as well as some of the different enemies that worked well. Now if it added settlement building and maybe some kind of crafting system, it would really start to blow me out of the water and become really viable as a mod. Unfortunately, after one or two major updates, the mod seemed to drift away into nothingness. We haven't heard anything since the middle of July, and as of right now, it sits as a kind of cool but not usable mod. If you actually want to use this in a normal playthrough, there's no real incentive to go to the Minecraft world unless you want to look at some blocks and take on a creeper or two. When the Institute portal gun was released, it blew me out of the water. You typically would think a mod trying to add in a portal gun and teleportation would be glitchy or just really wouldn't work that well. That was not the case for the Institute portal gun. From its release, I had no issues with it. It was kind of wonky the way you actually got the gun, but otherwise it worked flawlessly and you could just simply shoot there, and then you'd have a portal and you could go across the map, you could teleport enemies, etc, etc. It's gotten a few updates since then, just refining the mod that little extra bit, but I think it is one of the coolest mods for Fallout 4 and it remains so. Every once in a while, I'll just play with it for a little bit. Teleporting enemies never got old. Being able to cause raiders to fall to their death has always been immensely satisfying, and I definitely think this is one of the most unique and better mods released even this year. My video on the NAVI power armor got me more kind of insulting comments and sexist comments than any other video I've made. With that being said, it is definitely in the top tier of power armor mods released. It's just kind of weird. Basically, the way the mod works is it's only for females, and when you get into the power armor frame, it'll actually transform into a brand new femaleized power armor frame. I really like the look of the new frame. I thought it flowed well, although it did definitely have some exaggerated features on it. Then actually getting into the power armor, it looked pretty well. You had different helmets like an Anubis one, a bunny one, etc, etc. I felt the power armor itself looked pretty solid. It wasn't blowing me out of the water, but I really liked the whole frame feature, although I think the power armor being female only really turned a lot of people off. If you used a male character in Fallout 4, you straight up couldn't use this mod. Although I think one thing this mod did really well that other mods today even aren't doing is the things you could put on the power armor. So you could put all kinds of different backpacks and even a shirt on the power armor, and I think putting cloth garments on top of power armor is something I want to see more of. The T49 Storyteller armor did this kind of, but not really. But just something as simple as putting a backpack on your power armor I think could look really cool on a lot of the different sets. So I bet this mod looks familiar. Yes, in June, Vivid Weathers was released. This actually came quite a bit after Nuclear Weathers as well as True Storms, which kind of had a really good hold on the Fallout 4 community prior to this. Although when Vivid Weathers was released, it definitely made a splash. A lot of people instantly converted to Vivid Weathers and never looked back. It added in so many more weathers as compared to its competitors. This was definitely a more dynamic mod. After a few updates, True Storms definitely became a more feature-rich mod, so then you kind of had to choose which would you rather. But where Vivid Weathers really started to excel is on consoles, because it was the only weather mod released on consoles. A lot of console users instantly switched to this, and their game has been changed as a result. I just made a list of the top 5 Xbox One mods to download, period, and Vivid Weathers was on there. I without a doubt think it's one of the best mods released for Fallout 4 ever, and if you're not using some kind of weather mod, I think you're playing the game wrong. Definitely probably one of the biggest mods released in the month of June, and one of the coolest ones we still have today. If you want a pet Deathclaw, your answer has and probably always will be Beastmaster. It is the premier mod for taming animals in Fallout 4 and has remained so. It's actually gotten quite a few updates since its initial release and adding some really cool functionality, creating an environment where it's almost balanced to have a pet Deathclaw. First you have to capture it, then you have to get it to receive a control chip, then you have to balance its happiness and all kinds of things like that. This really is one of the better mods out there, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. You have to want to tame some Deathclaws and stuff like that, although as far as other options, there aren't any. If you want to tame a Deathclaw, Beastmaster again is your only option. For that reason, it's a really cool mod and definitely feature rich. Tumajamba's Spartan Battlesuit. My most viewed video on Fallout 4 is actually the top 7 power armors for Fallout 4. Guess which one got the top spot? My opinion has actually changed pretty greatly since then. I feel like the lack of updates for the Battlesuit made it fall behind some of the other power armors. Currently, I think either the Knight power armor or the Submersible power armor are the best, and both of those have been released in the past month. Basically, it adds in a good platform. I really like the theme introduced by the Battlesuit. It is a tanky power armor, and its stats, its function, and everything just agrees with that idea. Despite that, I really still don't think the textures look that good. Some of the other power armors that were plagued by this problem have fixed it since then, and a lot of the new power armors coming out today just don't even have the problem at all. This is making the power armor feel and look really dated, as well as the lack of any kind of cool features. Like, the Knight power armor has a massive shield you could put on your arm. The Submersible power armor has 3 different helmets and a drill. The Spartan Battlesuit does have the visor mechanism, so basically there is no helmet for this mod. The chest piece just goes over your head, and then you put on a visor to kind of give yourself the HUD. Although cool in principle, I don't think this squares up with a drill. I don't think it's a bad power armor by any means. It'll probably still make some of my top power armor lists. I just don't think it's one of the best ones out there anymore. So I may or may not have made a video talking about the top 5 World War II weapons in Fallout 4, and this may or may not have been the #1 spot. The defense gun adds in a Type 100 style weapon into Fallout 4. The reason I like this gun so much is I feel like it does something a lot of other weapon mods fail to do. It really embraces the weapon modification system implemented in Fallout 4. What do I mean by that? Well, let's compare it to a pipe pistol. Basically, when you get a pipe pistol, you could do a lot to that pipe pistol to make it your own. You can make it a real SMG, kind of a DMR-esque rifle, or maybe just a short range, high burst weapon. A lot of weapon mods don't follow that trend. You could do like 1 or 2 things with it, but you can't really make it your own. There's like 3 or 4 modifications, and you could change the damage a little bit. The defense gun isn't like that. There's a lot of different customization with this gun. You can make it a pistol, an SMG, more long range kind of semi-automatic rifle, and it looks and feels really good. The sounds are amazing, and I really think in first person when you're using this gun, it is without a doubt one of the best looking weapon mods out there right now. It also has a lot of cool customization options, like you use incendiary rounds, pressure ammo. A lot of the little features like this combine to push this gun as to one of the best weapon mods for Fallout 4 in my opinion, obviously, and I definitely think you should check it out if you haven't already. It's on Xbox One as well, so you console users have no excuse. The Midwestern power armor, adding in the famous power armor from some of the previous Fallout games. Upon release, this actually wasn't that good of a power armor mod. The model itself looked amazing, but the textures were like really bad, like really bad. Since then, it's gotten a huge overhaul, and now it has tons of different texture options, as well as I think just the vanilla, crisp looking textures are in like maybe the top 3 textures for power armors in general. They look really sharp and look really good. I wouldn't call this a great power armor by any means, it's just a pretty good one. It's always nice to have more power armor mods just because they're relatively rare and obviously a lot of work goes into them. It's like one of those mods you'd give a 7.5 or 8. It doesn't do anything crazy, but it's not bad in any means. The Pipe Shotgun or the Pipe Shotgun Collection. Technically the name of the mod's the Pipe Shotgun, but it really is a collection. Basically what this adds in is a very vanilla and lore friendly mod. A pipe shotgun platform for you to customize and make your own. There's a bunch of different barrels for this, so you can make it a single shot, a quad shot, a double barrel, etc, etc. And more than anything else, this mod feels like something that should have been in the vanilla game. They're not quite as strong as the combat shotgun or the double barrel shotgun, but I feel like that's a theme with with the pipe weapons. They're not supposed to be the strongest, it's just ammo is readily available and you could do some work with them in a pinch. This mod definitely embraces that customizability aspect I talked about a little bit earlier with the defense gun, as well as, again, it just fits in with the vanilla game. I've been using this with my survival playthrough and you really can't tell it's not in vanilla, it just works that well. The textures and the model look exactly like the regular pipe weapons, and all around it's a really solid mod to download. Patriot is one of those mods that I really wish had more downloads. It's a really well made and polished mod that functions well, but a lot of people just haven't downloaded it. Basically, what it adds in is a power armor companion. You're going to do a quest to get this little chip, and then once you put the chip into power armor, that's your companion. It's fully voiced now, and there's a new settlement added by it, so it's pretty feature rich. It's a relatively simple mod, but you have that really cool piece of power armor that's just laying around not doing anything. This is a cool way to take advantage of that. I think it's really well used with the everyone's best friend mod, so you could have a companion as well as dog meat at the same time, and kind of just go on adventures that way. Fallout Commander is one of the best ways to have really large and cool battles in Fallout 4 right now. Basically what it adds in is a radio beacon which allows you to call in some allies or reinforcements to help you take on some baddies. You could call in Brotherhood of Steel, Enclave, Institute, Railroad, etc. These guys will come in with some pretty cool animations. The Institute just kind of teleport in while the Brotherhood of Steel will be dropped off by Vertibird. And then these are your followers. You do have some options, so you could do some like higher level Brotherhood of Steel or just regular knights with no power armor or anything. All around, it's a really cool mod, especially if you just want to do like, let's shoot some shit and fight some people. You actually can also add these guys to your settlement, so you could create some really stacked settlements as a result. My one main gripe with this at release and today is there's no balancing whatsoever. Even some small changes like making it cost some amount of something to call these guys in would make this a really cool mod, especially in normal play. Because then once they die, they're dead forever, so you kind of have to help them, preserve them, give them a stim pack when they're down. They're more disposable than a regular companion, but you also have to spend money to get them. It still is a really cool mod, and I know a lot of console players really like this because you can't spawn people in as easily as on PC, so for that reason it's definitely become one of the most popular mods on consoles. The T-49 Power Armor. This was the first kind of major subsequent release on PC and console for power armors. Prior to this, a lot of the console users had to wait like a week for a power armor to be released on consoles. So this started to set a really nice trend that mod authors fortunately did follow. The power armor itself went down as a lot of people's favorites. I was never a huge fan of the power armor. There's nothing wrong with it, I just don't think it was as unique as some of the other mods out there. It looked very similar to like the T60 and XO1 combined, and it was almost a little bit too vanilla for me, but without a doubt one of the better power armor mods out there. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, but I do have a question for all of you. Do you want to see some older mods monthly? So do you want to see like January 2016 and February 2016? Obviously there wasn't nearly as many mods then because we didn't have the creation kit, but it could be an interesting little tidbit to make anyway. As always, I hope you guys did enjoy. I do encourage you guys again to consider subscribing if you did enjoy, but with that, I thank you all for watching.